It sounds, well, unreal. But I've played it, and it works. And if it proves successful, it could completely change the industry from the we pay to the way we play. Cloud systems like Blade's Shadow, or Nvidia's GeForce Now, which is in beta and available for free via invitation, work by essentially giving you access to your own high-power gaming computer. These machines are run out of massive data centers that you jack into via any available broadband connection. The data center computers do all of the heavy lifting. They run the games, then send the video signals back to your own device. In the case of Nvidia's GeForce Now, you play the games via Nvidia's GeForce software. Blade's Shadow, on the other hand, provides you with a full Windows PC that you can run games or other software on. Sony, SNE, offers its own game streaming service called PlayStation Now, though it limits you to streaming games to your PlayStation 4 or PC. The games are also limited to older offerings, which is great for gamers interested in classics or titles they may have missed, though not the latest blockbusters. According to Gartner Research Vice President Brian Blau, there's also a larger push in the industry to put games in front of as many eyeballs as possible, which also means getting them on any devices that will support them. Blau used the example of connected eyewear that, despite not having a lot of power, could still allow you to stream games and play them anywhere you can find an internet connection. Cloud gaming might be generating renewed interest thanks to rumors that Google and Microsoft are developing their own services, but cloud gaming efforts haven't always lived up to the hype. OnLive, a cloud gaming service that never quite got off the ground, ended up $40 million in debt before Sony finally bought it and shuttered it for good. I think business model and user experience have been some of the stumbling blocks, and maybe that's why it hasn't taken off so far, Blau explained. I've got Nvidia's GeForce Now, I've tried Sony's PlayStation Now, and I've tried others too on PC. So the experience, for the most part works, as long as you're in a place where the connectivity is not so bad. You have to have a certain amount of bandwidth and a certain amount of low latency to be able to support those experiences. And if you have that, it works fine, Blau said. Unlike streaming movies or music, gaming requires constant inputs from a user. Those button presses need to be sent to a computer server hundreds of miles away, tell your character how to move in the game, then have the video information fired back to your device where it's displayed. Even the slightest hint of latency, or lag, will throw off the whole experience. There's also the fact that service providers need to build out data centers across the country dedicated to playing games. A company couldn't, for example, build a data center in California and expect customers to play using its computers in New York. The latency would be too much to make the game truly playable. It's not just making sure the data can get back and forth from your device quickly, though. As Nvidia's senior product manager for GeForce Now Andrew Fear points out, gamers' home routers can be a choke point for data speeds that can impact the ability to stream games. Fear, however, said that Nvidia is working with router companies to ensure that data speeds are up to snuff when it comes to handling streaming game data. The ability to play games whenever and wherever you want sounds great for gamers, but cloud services would also provide a real benefit to game companies like Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. That's because instead of having to sink money into manufacturing and selling the hardware gamers need to play games, a one-time purchase, they can charge monthly or yearly fees, generating a constant revenue stream. Consumers, meanwhile, get to access their games anywhere they want. For the people who already own a GeForce GPU, I would say it like this, we have a terrific product for a standalone desktop card, which gives you the best performance in the world, said Nvidia's Andrew Fear. You can put a curved display on it, you can put VR, you can put 3 GPUs, you can put a big format gaming display, you can do pretty much everything you want. And that market is always going to exist, and therefore we're not trying to go in there and cannibalize that market and say GeForce Now should replace your next GPU. Naturally, game companies could also see an influx of new gamers who never would have thought of buying a high-end gaming PC or console, but are more than willing to try games on their smart TVs or tablets. Take, for example, Mac users. While many games are available for Mac, the majority are still PC only. But with a cloud service, Mac owners can play PC games on their machines without having to invest in a PC of their own. So will cloud gaming change the industry? That depends on whom you ask. Proponents will tell you that it could spell the end of consoles. In fact, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot told Variety in an interview during CES 2018 that he believes the next console generation, the systems following the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, will be the last we see before all games are streamed. I think at some point, the nature of the game console as we see it today is going to change, he said. So I wouldn't necessarily call it the end of the consoles, but I think you are going to see changes over time. In the future, are they going to be these big boxes with optical disc drives? Probably not. More from Dan, email Daniel Howley at Dowley @ follow him on Twitter at Daniel Howley. Follow News Pulse Finance on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn.